Hello, my name is Lori Ehlke. I'm an artist and an illustrator and an art educator, and I really enjoy sharing my love of art with others and using my art to glorify God. So when I was a child, I went to a school in Phoenix, Arizona called Emmanuel Lutheran School. And I remember in about second grade or so, I really got into drawing. One of my friends would teach me how to draw little things, and I would try and practice them a lot. And then I remember in about fourth, fifth, sixth grade, I was just so excited about all things Disney. I loved cartoon, I loved animation, and I would practice drawing Disney characters all of the time. I would trace them until I would get really good at drawing them from memory. Some of my favorite movies were 101 Dalmatians and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, but I think my all-time favorite was The Lion King. So I really enjoyed practicing on the different Disney characters. I even had a bedroom when I was a child with a Disney theme and had all of those fun characters all over my room. When I went to high school, I didn't have a very strong art program where I went, so I just practiced a lot on my own. I read a lot of books and magazines and would just try to do what the books recommended. A lot of them were step-by-step drawing books and things like that, just to kind of practice and get better at what I was doing. I did take a couple of classes when I was young too from other artists, and that really helped me a lot learn more about art and get better at it. So I attended Martin Luther College, and I actually studied Spanish because they don't have an art program, but I really wanted to take art classes. So I took a semester off of college and I went to Florence, Italy, and I lived there for a semester and studied art. I went to a school called Santa Reparata International School of Art, and I studied drawing and painting and figure drawing and Italian and art history. Those are my classes. I really had a great time there. I grew a lot in my artistic knowledge and my skills because I was practicing every day for multiple hours a day. So it really was a great way to kind of dive into my love of art. After that, I graduated and I still wanted to be learning more about art, and so I started taking more classes from other artists. And then when the internet got more popular and more well used, I started watching videos on YouTube and other platforms and just practiced and learned from those. So my first job relating to art was painting murals. I did murals at the campus of Martin Luther College. I painted 6 of them, 4 of them in the science department and 2 of them in the library. And I remember getting paid $6 an hour for painting these murals. And my husband, who I was dating at the time, was painting railing for his job, and he was getting paid $15 an hour to paint like these rails. And I thought, this is so unfair. But I still love painting these murals, and I think they're still there today. Besides painting murals, I have also done illustration. That was probably my next job. I illustrated a book of poetry for a pastor living in California at the time. I've also been an art teacher. I taught through community centers, different like art camps and art programs. And then I also taught 3rd and 4th grade art. And then I switched to 5th through 8th grade art. I taught high school art and am currently teaching 1st through 8th grade art. I also do those art parties where people come and get canvases and paint. So I teach art to adults and to children that way, and really have enjoyed drawing and painting with students of all ages. Another job I've had relating to art is doing what's called an art commission. So that's where someone comes and says, will you paint a picture of, and either it's a landscape or it's their house or their pet or their family. All of the above I've done, and I really enjoy doing that. I know some artists don't like to do that because they feel it's a lot of pressure, but I love the challenge. I love trying to make people look like they do in real life, or paint their pets for them. And when I do that, I usually work from photos that they give me, and then I paint from looking at the photos, because people don't sit still very long for me, pets especially. Another job I've had related to art is to create videos. So I do tutorials on YouTube and also with a company called Painting to Go. And I video record myself instructing people in art and then get paid to do that as well. So it's just kind of a lot of variety of ways that I can use my art and I can earn an income by creating art. It's a wonderful blessing. I really like trying a lot of different things and making art in a lot of different ways. So it's always been on my list to write and illustrate a book. And I remember being at home with my 4 children, who at the time, my boys were 4 and 3, and then I had twin baby girls. And I remember being very overwhelmed by having these 4 little children at home, most in diapers, and just making a total mess. And I'm like, I want to do something while I'm here, because it was really hard to get out of the house and to do art and things like that. But I decided, this would be a good time to write a book. And what better story to write about than the life I was living at that moment. So I decided to write about my twins and the mess that they made around the house. And I drew pictures based on things I was seeing every day, different messes in different places, and wrote the story. I had family look over the words for me and help me edit my words. I had teacher friends help, artist friends help, and finally published my first book. And after doing the entire process, I enjoyed it enough to do it again. And actually, I have now written and illustrated 4 books that are all available on Amazon. I did one called 3 Nice Mice, Mice with Manners. I did one about Jesus and sharing Jesus with others. And then I did one in English and Spanish, talking about kind of playing with food and food ideas. I have also illustrated books for other authors. Once they saw that I had written and illustrated my own books, they asked me to illustrate their stories. So I have done that for a few other authors. And then I've also illustrated a preschool Christ-Light curriculum. So telling Jesus stories. It's called Cross Connections for Early Learners. And I did I think 175 illustrations for that curriculum, all stories about Jesus and the Bible and whatnot. So that's been a fun project too. I love seeing it being used in schools all over the country. I usually create my art in my basement. That is where I have a big desk set up, and I work there. I usually have my laptop out, and then all of my art supplies are within reach so that I can kind of grab and work on things. I'm usually working on 3 or 4 pieces at a time, and I will add something to one piece, and then while it's drying, I will switch it out and grab another one and work on that. I like doing my art that way because then it kind of keeps my eyes fresh so that I don't get too boggled down on one picture. I work on a picture, put it aside, and then come back again with fresh eyes, and it usually says, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to work on this piece. My inspiration comes from all over. I follow a lot of other artists on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm always like reading art books and watching art shows. I just cannot get enough of it. So usually I'm inspired by maybe other artists or other things that I see. I also am very inspired by places I travel. My family loves to travel. We like to go to national parks. We like to explore cities. We take big road trips all over the United States. And so I take tons of pictures, and then I bring those pictures home and draw and paint from them. So that is a lot of the inspiration as well. My advice for those who want to do art is basically to just do it, jump in, to practice it. I practice a ton. I know a lot of my students that I work with say, Mrs. Ehlke, how did you get so good at art? And it's just like anything. It's like playing basketball. It's like playing an instrument. The more you practice, the better you get. And it's been really rewarding to see my art get better and better and better each year because of how much I practice doing it. I paint pretty much every day, at least like an hour or so, even if it's just, 5-10 minutes, a quick sketch, it's better than nothing. And so just by continuing to do it, you'd be amazed at how much you can grow in your art. I'm also a huge supporter of learning. I love to learn. I love to be a student. I love to teach, but I also love to be on the other end, and I love to learn. And so I still take classes from other artists. I still go online and look up tutorials and follow other artists painting, because you can always learn from other artists and how they do what they do. I also like trying different mediums. So like I said, I normally do watercolor, but last year I took an oil painting class. And this summer I hope to take a pottery class. So I'm trying out other things too, because you never know like how that inspiration will help you learn and discover new things. So make sure that if you are interested in art, that you practice, that you learn from other artists, and that you try a lot of different styles, because only then can you kind of discover who you really are as an artist. So have fun, and if ever you want to see more of my art, feel free to follow me on YouTube at Ehlke Art, or Instagram at Lori Ehlke, or find me on Facebook. Lori Ehlke's Art is my Facebook page. I'm always posting my latest projects and endeavors there. Thanks so much, and have a fabulous day.